This pile of rubble is all that's left of half a century of old family history.
Just shock. I couldn't believe it.
Don and Diana Auld's Clifton Creek home was one of hundreds of properties lost in Victoria's tragic summer bushfires.
It's been my whole life for the last 50 years.
Got 4 girls. They have grown up in this house.
I'm 79 years old. We could rebuild here, but you've seen it's an enormous amount of work.
The fires in East Gippsland started burning late November, right before New Year's extreme weather blew them down from the hills to towns on the coast. Mallacoota was one of the worst places hit. The nightmare's not over for the hundreds still stranded. The fires have burnt out more than 1 million hectares across Victoria. It's all led to destruction like this. This is all that's left of Clifton Creek Primary School, or the little school on the hill, as the principal calls it. For some, fate was kinder. Charlie's home is one of the few left in his street. He stayed behind with his daughter and elderly mother to protect their home. So what's going through your mind when you see fire so close to your home?
Thinking of the houses, thinking of my mother inside, my daughter in there, thinking, hey, if it gets that bad, I've got to get them out.
The inferno came within metres of the house where Charlie mounted his defence, armed with 2 tractors and a hose.
And within, I'd say, minutes, the fire was on top of you. But I thought, I can't beat it. It's just going too quick. You were battling for about 5 hours non-stop.
As he battled to save his own home, he could only watch as his neighbours lost theirs.
I really felt sorry for them, not just them, but everybody up here. They worked hard to get what they got, and they're going to start again.
Well, journalist Jan Fran joins us now from Lakes Entrance in Victoria's Gippsland region. Jan, what have you been seeing around the region?
Well, PVO, there's quite a significant amount of devastation here. Unfortunately, you can drive for kilometres on end and see what essentially looks like a post-apocalyptic landscape. So charred black trees, white ash on the ground. There's peat that's still burning underneath the earth, so it gives off this sort of smouldering effect. We've seen homes razed to the ground completely, homes and businesses. We've seen people start to return to their homes over the course of the last few days and start really surveying the damage. There's been stories of people who've returned to their homes and they found their homes still intact, miraculously, having looked at their neighbours' homes and seen them be razed to the ground and not really understanding why their home managed to survive the inferno. We've seen a lot of displaced people as well here, PVO, a lot of people staying with family in the neighbouring towns and the surrounds that are slightly less affected. We've seen people who have moved away to Melbourne who are slowly coming back into the towns again to survey the damage or to find their house intact. And we've also seen some really lovely community spirit here, which is to some degree, if you can call it that, a bit of a silver lining. You know, we've seen hay being transported from right across the state over to East Gippsland to help the farmers and, of course, feed cattle that would no doubt be starving by today. So we've seen a lot of community spirit, water, supplies, donations rolling in as well. But overall, I think that this is a community that is still in a little bit of shock and in a little bit of grief. Some good news, though, that just came in an hour or so ago. There were 4 people missing in the state of Victoria. They have since been found alive and well. So that is some good news in spite of the devastation here.
Absolutely it is. There's been evidence, though, that they haven't been able in Mallacoota to continue with some of the evacuations. We've got some footage here to be able to show people, extraordinary footage from inside one of the RAAF planes that has been trying to land in these regions. I mean, take a look at that. Viewers can see that there's just no visibility for the pilots as they're looking at trying to get in there. They're unable to do so. They're going to have to keep trying. They have to turn back from time to time. What's the latest on that situation there? Because we know that some of the elderly and some of the young can't get out by boat, apparently, so plane is their best and only option.
Indeed. Look, it's been extraordinarily difficult for the pilots getting in and out of Mallacoota. The air quality today is actually somewhat worse than what it was yesterday. It's very foggy, it's very smoky, visibility is at a real low. So there were 300 people that were due to be evacuated from Mallacoota today. My understanding is that they are the last 300 people in Mallacoota to be evacuated. Unfortunately, that wasn't to go ahead because the visibility was simply too poor for pilots to be able to to enter. Now, a lot of these people, my understanding is, are young children. They are the elderly who were not able to be evacuated on boats that have had to wait for the planes. So, of course, there are questions around the air quality, having breathing in the sort of toxicity that's been in the air for some days now, if not weeks. There's also a real concern around supplies coming in and out of Mallacoota, medical supplies being the big one. My understanding is there is water available in the town, but that power has been cut off entirely. There are generators there that are currently powering a lot of the homes and businesses in the area. So it's not an ideal situation. I did speak to someone from the CFA just moments ago. They told us that evacuations will resume tomorrow, weather permitting. So we really will have to see what the weather is doing tomorrow.
Well, fingers crossed that can happen. Thanks for your time, Jan.
You're welcome. Thank you.